But Euro has really changed the French position in Europe on a tremendous way.
Do you think the UK should go for the Euro?
I'm sure they should, but I leave it to them. I think we still need a few more years.
And what do you think will happen with Turkey?
Well, with Turkey, for the time being, we're negotiating with them, and we will go on negotiating. But those negotiations take a long time. Just think, for instance, that for Spain, we spent nearly 10 years negotiating with Spain before Spain entered the European Union. So it should be something like 10 years, maybe, with Turkey. And then we will see. We know, as you know, French position is that we think Turkey is not suited to become a full member for many reasons, because we think that Turkey is a country that is mostly outside of the European continent, because we think that there are many political problems also with Turkey. So Sarkozy has made it quite clear that he thought that Turkey shouldn't become a full member, but should become a sort of special partner, and that we should try to find for them a special relationship.
Do you think the number of EU members should be held at 27? I mean, are you not a proponent of expansion at all, and then just start having these special memberships?
We have made already commitments with the Balkan countries. In 2000 we had a great meeting, an important meeting with them, under French presidency, by the way, in Zagreb, and we decided that the countries of the Balkan area should have a vocation to become members. So we're going through a long process. We're having first special partnership, association agreement, etc., and then we will go on to start negotiation for membership with each of them. We have started with Croatia already, and then we will go with Macedonia, etc., in due course, I suppose, with Serbia in one day. But this will take time. But they have the sort of vocation to become members of the European Union, and we have accepted that. So that means that we will be, in a few years' time, more than 30. The question with Turkey and with others, because we have other countries that are also interested. Think about Ukraine, think about Georgia. The problem is, how far do we go? And this is precisely one of the reasons why we're asking for some time to think about all this. What kind of Europe do we want to have in 20 or 30 years from now on? How many members? What kind of common policy do we want to go on doing together? Because this has been a long story. We started only 6 of us, and at the time we dealt mostly with agriculture, with fisheries, with transports, and now we know that other issues are coming up, questions of immigration, question of common justice, question of foreign policy, of European defense. So we have to think about, we have to think about how do we shape the whole thing in maybe a different way.
Given your EU background, and now you are here in Washington, of the many things that cross your desk, what interests you the most?
Now here?
Yes.
Many things.
I mean, what lights you up when it lands on your desk?
I would say 2 things. First of all, everything that relates to your country. I mean, I'm trying to get informed and understand what's going on. And I must tell you, reading your newspaper or watching your television every day makes you very excited.
How do you like reading the newspaper when it's about you and your private life?
I just look at it and then go on.
And then you go on. You know, I get so many questions from the people in the audience, and while there have been maybe one about the EU and one about Sarkozy's economic plans, and maybe one about, you know, the Euro. Most of the questions are about your private life, which is, of course, private, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least clarify. Do you live alone at the embassy?
Yeah.
And with your staff, of course. And you have...
I try to be as discreet as possible.
Yeah, well, don't make me blush, or make you blush. You have a son. And he lives in Brussels with his mother, your wife, and you live here. And do you expect it will stay that way?
Yes, I think so.
And you live in the residence with some staff, and you have your grand public rooms. Do you get to enjoy them while you're living there?
I think there are 2 things. You have on the
or is
on
it
the
lonely?
I see where you want to go. No. On the ground.
No.
on the ground floor, you got all social events, and this is where I suppose my official life take place. And then on the first floor and the other floors, you have the rooms, and this is where I must tell you I mostly work.
Yes.
Because the way things are organized in my embassy, I usually come back around 9 or 10 with a lot of working load, a lot of dispatches to read or things to do. So I go on working very late during night.
But like all ambassadors, you have these big, beautiful residences that you live in, and yours is one of the prettiest in the city. But your private quarters are actually quite small. You have your little retreat that you can go to. And is it easy to make that feel like home?
Yes, because you bring your own stuff. I bring my records, so I listen to music.
Who do you listen to for relaxation, American or French?
Must say mostly American and English.
Yeah,
also.
like who American? Who are you going to be booking in to perform at the residence?
Well, I'm a great fan, but he's my generation, so James Taylor.
Oh, please, bring him.
I don't know him personally, but
that could probably be arranged. Who else do you like to listen to?
Well, James Taylor, Bruce Springsteen, people like that.
Yeah. Do you go to American concerts? Do you go to American rock concerts?
I haven't done it yet here, but I used to do it in France when those those singers used to come, musicians used to come to France. I tried to do that.
What do you do when you have a night off? Do you ever have a night off?
So far, I must say, I haven't had many, except maybe on weekends, and even on weekends it's difficult.
But you like to walk?
I walk.
You're a serious walker, aren't you? How many miles can you walk just for pleasure? You can walk quite a distance. You can walk for an hour or more, can't you?
No, I walk much more than that.
More than that.
I used to walk, well, I mean, you must understand that I spent nearly 5 years, day and night, in the same office, in the French Foreign Office for the last 5 years. So when I was released in the end, I just went on walking in Paris just to see how the city had changed, because
in Paris.
So I used to walk 5 or 6 hours.
Is Washington as good a city for walking as Paris?
Yes, I think so. Different. It's a different way, of course. It's not exactly the same.
Do you have a neighborhood you most like walking in?
Here,
right here in
Georgetown,
Georgetown.
of course.
You should get a little apartment here, and then. You were
I
talking.
hadn't thought about that.
You were talking about having lived here when you were growing up. Now, your career, interestingly, if I'm not telling anything out of school, that as you were trying to choose a career, there was a moment when you thought of being a journalist.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You see, my father was a diplomat. My brothers-in-law were diplomats. Everybody is a diplomat in my family. So I said to myself, and you see how successful I was, maybe I should try something else.
Break out.
And do something else. So I wanted to be a journalist, very much so. So I went to see one of our great journalists in France, Jean Lacouture, whom I knew a little bit, and I told him, what would be your advice? And he said, I'm going to give you 2 advice. The first one is never do that job. It's terrible. You're going to be very unhappy. Don't do it. Now, having said that, my second advice is if you want to do it, do it. But
that sounds like a French argument.
But at the time there was a compulsory military service in France, so everybody told me first go and do your military service, and then you can get into journalism. And so I had 1 year of military service, and during that year people convinced me that at least I should have one go at National School for Administration to see whether I could succeed or not. And fortunately I succeeded. So I went on.
And once you passed that, does that sort of, I mean, that you were just on your path then, and there really wasn't any...
Well, it's usually the way it works. You have 2 years training and
did you already have your law degree at that point?
Yeah, law and political science at the time. That comes after university. So you usually spend 2 years, 2.5 years in that school. And once you get out, depending on the rank you get when you get out, you can go either to the finance ministry, foreign affairs, etc., etc.